the desire, I think, to see entrepreneurs doing much better, or entrepreneurs growing from just running a hustling or small business to one day being registered, at the stock exchange, to say what stops us from being registered at the stock exchange.
Good day and welcome to another session of Women in Leadership with V. Women in Leadership with V was brought to you by Diversity SA. Diversity SA is a management consulting company in diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it specializes in training, facilitation, and speaking. And today, for this episode, we're excited to have Dikeledi Seleka Ewa. And Dikeledi, I think let's start. Let's just go straight to who's Dikeledi?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invite. It's quite great being here with you. Who is Dikeledi, right?
We want to know.
Is a big sister. I've got 3 younger sisters. Obviously now Mamoholo also. Dikeledi is a mother to beautiful 4 children. Dikeledi is a wife. Dikeledi is a businesswoman, is an entrepreneur, professional speaker, business performance coach. But I always say Dikeledi is a village woman at heart.
That's That's interesting. Dikeledi, you are a business coach, a professional speaker, a businesswoman. You've got all these things. You're a mother. How do you balance professional with your private life?
Yeah, I've got a lot happening. Look, I always say I don't think one can ever find a balance. But I have found what works is being able, because both demands different at the different times. So there is a time that work demands more than personal life, and there is a time that personal life demands more than work. So as long as you are able to, cut across between the two as and when it is needed. But what I have found really that has worked for me over the years, I've been self-employed for 9 years now. What has really worked for me is support. Support of family, husband, children, my sisters. My sisters have really been my backbone, my strength. Being able to have someone to call on and say, I'm running late, please pick up the children. Or I need a babysitter.
And that makes a difference, eh? It makes a lot of difference.
Yeah. Having a business partner also, having a team that you work with, quite important. A partner that you are able to say, hey, can you take care of this? I am a bit swamped. Can you show up for this meeting? I'm not available. So support overall has been what has carried me and afforded me the chance to become what I want to become. And I think also more than anything, determination. Determination to achieve what I want to achieve career-wise, professional space-wise, but also determination in making sure that I keep my family together. Because I am a girl and a woman that is very big on family. So that remains also my pillar. So determined to make sure that also is good.
No, that's great to hear. Most people forget the sisterhood when they get into business. You are a business coach and your passion is supporting small businesses. What does that entail?
So I am the founder and CEO of Dynamic Teams Coaching. Dynamic Teams Coaching really is a coaching and mentoring company that focuses on entrepreneurs at startup level, offering different services. What I really find is the desire, I think, to see entrepreneurs doing much better, or entrepreneurs growing from just running a hustling or small business to one day being registered at the stock exchange to say what stops us from being registered at the stock exchange. When I left banking, because I come from a banking corporate background, back in 2014, one of the issues that pressed me that I found a gap in was, at the time, the stats were that over 80% of entrepreneurs, or rather over 80% of small businesses, fall through the cracks within the first 5 years of existence. So we don't make it to 5 years and beyond. And 80% was a lot.
Yeah, that's a big number.
So I was wondering why. Why is it that we are unable to sustain ourselves beyond that?
And I think in order to answer that, you came with a program called Success by Design. Tell us a little bit about how that helps small businesses.
So in an effort to building sustainable businesses that creates inclusive wealth and create jobs, and working with small businesses or startup entrepreneurs, I realized that there was a common trend or a common lag with the entrepreneurs that I was working with. We've got clients both in South Africa at home and in about 5 African countries.
Oh, wow.
We've got clients in Kenya, in Zimbabwe, in Ghana, and all that, and we're growing our footprint. And we have also worked with the University of Wisconsin-Madison in the United States. So that's
good. So you are growing.
We are growing, okay. I must say. Not at the pace that we would like, but yeah. So in my coaching experience and interacting with these entrepreneurs at their different level of operation, I picked up a common trend. And the common trend was that they were just running with no direction. You wake up, I am the lady, I own a coaching company, I must find customers, and I just go. They did not have a bigger picture that they were working towards. They did not have an entrepreneur had a vision, but the vision ended up in mind. There were no steps or a structure in place that ensures that you work towards achieving that vision. And as an entrepreneur, you wear too many hats. Most of small businesses are either a one-man or one-woman companies or businesses. So you are a salesperson, a marketing, administration, finance, and everything. As a result, you end up running your business or focusing on the operational and the horizontal growth of your business as opposed to a strategic and vertical growth of your business.
So how does Success by Design help?
And where Success by Design came in was that as a result of them running in all direction without any focus and direction, they lacked strategy. Success by Design, really, it came from the term of let us succeed by design and not by chance. And Success by Design, it's literally a business development strategy. So we help organizations, a business strategy development workshop. So we help organizations to develop strategies for their businesses. And we don't just work with entrepreneurs or businesses. We also work with the CSOs, the civil society organizations. We help them develop strategies for their organizations, which is mapping a way forward. We teach what is a business strategy, why do you need it, what value does it add in your business, and how to develop it. What are the critical elements to cover in your business as a small business or as an NPO or an NGO? What is it that you need to cover? What are the elements that you focus on or that are fundamental for your growth? That's what Success by Design workshop does. It's a strategy development workshop. And we find that once we have worked with them, they have that it improves confidence. It aligns focus and alignment. Most people, they know where they are going and how to get there. The important thing with Success by Design is that it also introduces performance management or performance measurement and management. So you've got tracking tool in place that guides you to know, this is my goal, this is my objective. What are the daily activities that are eventually aligned to the objectives, the goals, and the vision?
And that's critical because most small businesses, they've got the product, they want to go out and sell it, and they don't think of all these other things that are needed for the business.
And maybe before you go ahead, important to that also is that we find that most small business owners, they think such language does not belong at their level. When you talk of business strategy, when you talk of digital transformation or digital strategy, when you talk of financial strategy, they think that, oh well, that's for corporates, that's for the businesses that have made it.
I'm just hustling.
Exactly. And I'm like, such language shouldn't be foreign to any business owner, irrespective of your level of operation, irrespective of sector that you work in, and irrespective of location. Anyone can talk to business strategy. All it takes is speaking the right language at the right level with the right people. We have done this in Lesotho. Just February, we were contracted to go to Lesotho, and we did Success by Design workshop with rural women who are literally selling vegetables into farming, poultry, and all that. And they were like, wow, they get it. And I'm like, that's all it takes. Speak the language at their level where they can understand. By the time we walked out, they had a business strategy in place. That's all it takes, understanding.
That's interesting. I think for all the entrepreneurs out there, take a challenge. Success by Design is out there. So Success by Design is not the only program that you do. You also have Ubuntu Leadership Program.
Yes.
Tell us, who's the target? What does it entail?
Wow, so that's another great service that we have brought on board at Dynamic Teams Coaching, about 2 years old now. We just launched it actually in September, but I had been guest facilitating it at Wits Business School since last year. Under CAPSI, Center for African Philanthropy, Studies and Investments, something like that.
Okay.
For that. So we guest facilitated it there, and it was well received. Now, what is this leadership thing with Ubuntu? We call it Leading Forward with Ubuntu. And literally it means leading Africa forward based on the principles of Ubuntu. This is a masterclass that contributes to leadership development. It was designed with an aim to give a rise to a different culture of leadership in Africa. A culture of leadership that is responsible, that is authentic, that is accountable, but most importantly, a culture of leadership that is courageous in their actions and generational in their approach. I find that one of the biggest challenges of leadership in Africa, and please take note, I say leadership in Africa and not African leadership. There's a reason why I call that. One of the biggest challenges is that leaders in Africa lack vision. So we just lead. And forgive me, I'm not saying we don't have good leaders. We do. But like I always say, is that when you think of leadership in Africa, it's like oil and water. It's non-effective. It's non-responsible. But when you further break this down, dive deep into that statement, why is leadership in Africa non-effective? Why is it so poor? Leadership in Africa is associated with characters such as ailing economy, poverty, corruption, and all that. Thank you. I was getting to that. Corruption. But when you further unpack that, you realize that when you talk of corruption, people are first to think of government states or the state, government-led offices, right? To a huge degree, that is correct. But I always ask the question, does government do business with government? Do municipalities do business with municipalities? No. They do business with corporate, with businesses, with
and people.
So who is corrupt? Is it government or is it an individual?
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
who's the target for this?
So that was what we came to when we said we are giving a rise to a different leadership, a leadership that is not corrupt. And when you look at when you further divide that, corruption talks to an individual, what leads to individuals being corrupt, it boils down to values and morals and all that. And that was how we came with the concept of leadership in Africa, based on the principles of Ubuntu, because we were saying we need to go back to the basics of who we are at the core. And especially looking at Africa, where the three concepts of institutions, being the legislation, or rather the framework, the nominative framework, the culture cognitive framework, those two are not working. But the nominative framework is the one that we would hold on to, which then talks to morals, because the regulatory framework is failing in Africa everywhere. So if regulation is failing us, then what is the institution that we can look at that would help us improve the leadership in Africa? And that then brought us to the principles of Ubuntu. And the idea behind that also is to teach Africans and everyone else that our culture as Africans is not just clothes, the materials. It's not just
deeper.
Food. It's not just the language. It's deeper than that. There's principles and values. You were asking me who are we targeting with this leadership development masterclass. We target entrepreneurs, of course, but we target middle management within corporate spaces. We target graduates, students that have just graduated, or even your MBA students that are looking to become managers, leaders who are looking to become executives. And why we say this is that if you want, start them young. Because already we have this culture that is corrupt, that has painted leadership as being the fleshy life. Because when you think of leadership, you think of people who are making it. The first people that come to mind are the politicians. And when you look at those people, they have fleshy lives. You know, they have it's like material type of a thing. The great leaders in corporate, they are there, but they are few and far in between. So one hardly knows their culture and how they are doing and all that. So if we are to give a rise to a different culture of leadership, it's best we start from the bottom up and say, this is the standards. So integrate and inculcate a culture of leadership that is based on Ubuntu. People who would come with understanding of collectiveness. People who understand that I am because we are, and because we are, I am.
Yes.
So that's what we are looking
at. Oh, that's exciting. And for you're not only doing work with the small businesses and middle management, you're also contributing and giving back through the Sisters Empowerment Circle. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yes. That's another exciting part of my life. So I am the founder, co-founder and CEO of Sisters Empowerment Circle, which is a non-profit organization that works on education and works closely with rural-based primary and secondary school learners. Now, why that? I said it to you that I'm a village girl at heart. So
I know.
That's where I come from. But also I have and I don't know whether to call it motto or mantra, that I live by, that in whatever change that I want to see, be it in my personal life, professional life, South Africa, being a South African and being an African, I have to realize that I have a part to play, I have a role to play in effecting that change. And I think that stems from understanding how inextricably connected our successes are. That I can't succeed alone, or South Africa cannot succeed without me. So that, I
think it takes us back to Ubuntu as well, to say,
and understanding that you don't operate in vacuum.
Yes.
So for me, that was what led me to starting that Sisters Empowerment Circle, because whenever I went back home, which is Ramakokastad, my village, it would break my heart to realize that a matriculant today in that village going Gokwenatlase High School has no more than I had when I did my matric in 1997.
Sure.
And the other pain that I have always found difficult, that I struggle with, is that why is it that because I am poor, I can't get access to good health, to good education? Why should good education and good health and good living be dependent on how deep my pockets are? And now this was looking at what we could afford here in Johannesburg for our children, going to private schools, and you look at a daughter same age as mine, same, probably even more brilliant than my own daughter, in a
rural
village,
village.
but they did not have anything. So what our program does at Sisters Empowerment Cycle, which is what we call Lweto Moho program. Lweto Moho, it means journey with me, journey with us. Take a journey with us. What our program does really, it's building characters of these young learners. And why we chose to build characters is that we realize that rural-based learners have no access to education, no more than curriculum education. They only have curriculum education. So come 2 o'clock, school
no
is
sports,
finished,
no nothing.
no extramurals, no recreational centers and all that. So by now they roam the streets or they go home, nothing stimulating their brains, nothing challenging them. And this has led to things such as teenage pregnancies, school dropouts, and substance abuse, because really they had nothing to do. So they've got ample time in their hands. So we were not cultivating these learners from a young age. So our program then focuses on after school. So we call it a high level after school program, which is workshops that we run that are based on character building, introduce entrepreneurial skills at that level, communication skills, that's what we do. Because also, I like saying that what our program does, it broadens the learner's vision beyond the confinements of their geographical location.
And I think for them, it's also good to see you come back and say it can be done from this village.
Exactly.
You can get out of the village, you can come back and give back.
Very
that's good. Okay, let's come back to the challenges of being a woman and a businesswoman, especially in a male-dominated space.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that?
I think I read somewhere in a book and someone said, as a woman in business, to break through, your challenges are 10 times higher than that of a man. A man already comes with some sort of level of trust already by virtue of them being a man. And then by virtue of them being a man and a white man, it even makes it better. But for us as women, we come completely at zero. Being a black woman, it even makes it -1. If I may put it that way. I don't have stats to back that up. But that's how it feels like. So you've got to prove yourself. You've got to put double the effort, 3 times the effort. One of the things, the challenges that I found at corporate, they said to me, Dikeledi, the problem is that you operate in a professional space. Operating in a professional space, we would rather go with long-standing relationships and brands that have been in the game for some time and that are trusted, as opposed to giving a small business an opportunity, because it was regarded as the high risk, actually. That's what
the small business
called. Yes. No, the space that I was looking for, because I was looking to do organizational culture and performance coaching within that corporate company. And they were saying that space is a high risk space. So they would rather work with a long-standing big brand that is known in that space. And I mean, you look at the space that I play, if I were to focus on doing such work in corporate, I have the likes of IBM that I am competing with. These are people with over 50 years on their back of experience. And here I am just coming, a girl from Rampo Castanho. So that has been one of the challenges. The other challenge really, it has been the fact that I'm a woman. You meet men that you are to knock on their doors and request these meetings and request to table your proposal or whatever. And unfortunately, there are those who expect differently and who want something beyond what you offer, you're willing to offer. I have met with questions or statements such as your problem is that you request meetings during the day.
Gosh.
So those are some of the challenges. And if you are not grounded, you can easily find yourself missing way, you know. And I'm not here painting myself clean, but there are challenges that one has had to take a step back and really think hard. And I think in my book also, because I wrote a planner, by the way.
That's good.
There's a chapter I cover in there which talks to the danger of being desperate. And this was me after leaving corporate 2 years into being self-employed with no client, no cent, problems and everything.
Desperation
And
kicks in.
Desperation kicks in, and you find yourself doing things that you were never set out to do. Like I said, at one point they asked me, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Change management." And I'm like, "But that's not what I set out to do." But it's because now change management is an experience that I come with from corporate. So I needed to lean on that experience just to find myself some income and to find myself going, you understand? But now such things leads to you being desperate and looking for anything that can bring you income, which can then burn your fingers. You know, there are things that I have ran after a mining contract. I mean, I have nothing to do with mining. But 10,000 rand.
So you just
later,
wanted to hustle?
Yes, only to find that it was even a scam.
Oh my goodness.
10,000 rand later, gone. And I've even lost a relationship, a friendship, because of that scam. Because now I wanted income and I was promised heaven and earth.
Oh.
So hence I say the danger of being desperate is that you operate at the level of need. You are pushed by the need at the time. You are pushed by the lack at the time, that you forget who you are and what you stand for and what you're looking for. So because I've been burned, I have been able to say, hold on, what grounds me? You know, what are the basics? So you are able to, so those has been the challenges. Being able to find your groundies and but also at the same time being resilient, you know, being able to pick yourself up every day and try again.
And that is important. Apart from you running dynamic teams, you also run other businesses with your husband. Can you share a little bit about that?
So yes, being the founder of Dynamic Teams, and by the way, Dynamic Teams, we also offer coaching programs for entrepreneurs. That's one of our services there. I also am the co-founder with my husband of Real Metal Recycling. So we are involved in heavy metal recycling. We deal a lot with mines, ferrous and non-ferrous metals. We also own a real auto refurbishing company where we deal with commercial cars. So he buys cars and he refurbishes them or even respraying and all that, and then we sell them. So like a car dealership. We also own guest houses. We own 2 guest houses at this stage.
Oh.
And I'm involved in all these businesses. So like my every Saturday morning before I came here at 6 o'clock sharp, I am at the guest houses.
Okay.
I'm doing my books, my accounts and everything else. And then the recycling and the car dealership also I oversee on that side.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. You've achieved a lot and you are here today. What would you say to young women who aspire to be where you are right now?
You know, the first thing I always say, I believe that we all have a higher power that we answer to. Identify what that higher power is for you. For me, that is God. I'm a Christian woman. I pray a lot. I'm not the perfect person you can find. But yes, prayer has carried me. But other than that, also, I think it's important knowing what you stand for and knowing what you want in life. Everything has to have a compass that it operates from. So the biggest lesson that I have really learned in my space, and this is cuts across personal and professional space, is that never be too old to learn or too arrogant to learn. I always say I remain teachable. In everything, I remain teachable. I have run my company coaching, Dynamic Teams Coaching, 9 years old today. I have tweaked and twisted. I have changed my business profile, I don't know how many times. Like I said to you, even the name Dynamic Teams Coaching is the third name.
Oh.
And this is me being open to the change and allowing myself to grow and evolve with the world as the world changes. But at the same time, seeking to remain relevant and remain authentic to who I am. Because I find that grounding is important. Because if you are not grounded and not authentic, every storm that comes by will blow you in every direction.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
be grounded, be authentic, but be open to learning. So your authenticity and your values remains your compass while you align, seek alignment, seek to be relevant by bending where you need to bend, by changing where you need to change, but remain in the core. So I can tell you, Dynamic Teams, for now, we have these 3 services. I'm sure if you talk to me by next year, 2 years later also, we will have more. But the grounding remains that we work with entrepreneurs at this space, or we seek to inspire, grow, and develop fellow entrepreneurs in Africa.
Wow, that's excellent advice. This growing and evolving, what would you say? Because some people, they get hit by a challenge, maybe early in their life, and then they stop. They don't do anything else. What would you say to them?
Why? Why did you start? For me, everything boils down to purpose. I have been knocked out, V. I'm human too. I've been knocked down. I have experienced the storms, you know. But every time you wanna give up, you wanna leave it. You are hit by this inner thing to say, but if I give up on this, then what do I do? Who am I? What do I stand for? So I think everything starts by you finding what your purpose is and what you believe your purpose to be. And let's be careful with that. I believe also purpose is something that changes with time.
Yes.
As you grow, your purpose also changes because you are influenced by different things at different times, at different levels in your life.
Definitely.
So that, but always at those different stages, identify what your purpose is at that stage and then seek to align to that. I always say, in whatever space that you find yourself, be it as an employee or as a business person, whatever the case might be, we cannot work to just put food on the table and think that is enough. There has to be something bigger than that that is pushing us. I'm not working because I want to pay the bills and put food on the table.
So the why has to be bigger.
Yes. There has to be something bigger that is driving me. And guess what? That something bigger is what will help you stand up when life happens, because life does happen.
It does happen.
Life does happen.
There you have it. That was Dikeledi Selika Ewa. There you have it. She's got these 3 programs. Check them out. She's got a coaching program. She's got Success by Design. She's got Ubuntu Leadership Program that she offers, and they're there. They are available. You can join. That's it for today. And thank you so much, Dikeledi. Thank you for being a guest in our podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you. Thanks. There you have it. You can Share, subscribe, like our videos. We are on all the platforms. We're on YouTube, on Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Thank you, and that's it for today. Good day.